Side behind us again, in the words of Johnny Logan, you know. Another year over and a new one just begun. What was that? What's another year for someone who's lost every stitch that he owns? Boom, so how's you going, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Just said I'd run this by you, okay? With the new year coming now and everything, you know, a lot of people are going to go on a healthy one, that's right. And of course, if you do some research on the internet, you're probably going to come across stuff like get your greens into you, you know, get your lettuce, get your celery, get your cabbages, get your kale, you know, all these kind of stuff that they want you to get into. Most likely that's what you're going to come across when you start saying, look, I'm going on a healthy one. I'm going to join the gym. Well, you got to understand that your health starts in your kitchen and not in the gym. So, and that all starts in where you source your food from. So if you're buying food that's not organic and it's just normal food covered in pesticides, what you expect when your body starts to ingest this, right?
Said I don't want any damn vegetables.
All right, that's it, young man. No.
Look on any container of greens powder and you'll see a huge list of vitamins and minerals. Calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin B6, biotin. You stir up a glass of this green stuff thinking that all of these nutrients are going to be absorbing into you, turning you into the fitness influencer of your dreams. But that is simply an illusion. Barely any of those nutrients are going to get absorbed. According to one study, only 1 to 10% of the iron in spinach gets absorbed by humans. So when vegans argue that 1 cup of spinach is the equivalent of a piece of steak, it's just not. You're only getting a tiny fraction of the nutrients listed on the label.
But don't be surprised one day if someone gets it into their head. Look at all the leaves that no one is using. Let's pack these, give them a new name, put them under the vegetable category, right? And then we can pack them and we can have them in blenders before you know it, we'll have them drinking that crap too, right? But you got to understand, all them greens, they're not good for you. They're the leaves of the plant. It doesn't want you eating them. It's full of natural pesticides. The plant has to protect the plant, right? And some creatures can adapt and overcome that pesticide. But human beings, we're not cut out for it, so you shouldn't be eating them.
Kale. It's crunchy. It's crisp. It kinda tastes like grass clippings. But according to the biggest health experts in America, kale is the superfood.
MVP of greens, it is King Kale.
Because it's one of the most nutritious vegetables.
I knew kale before it was kale.
It's the holy grail of nutrition. But here's what you may not realize. Only 10 years ago, kale was just a sad, wilted mess underneath the Pizza Hut salad bar. So how did this lowly vegetable undergo this incredible transformation? Well, it was all thanks to one woman, Miss Oberon Sinclair. Oberon is the owner of the New York City PR firm, My Young Auntie. And Miss Oberon had one simple dream: to get America to eat more kale. Why? Because I've been trying to convert people for years to eat in a healthy way. I've always loved kale. It is an amazing vegetable. And so she used her skills to make kale the hottest thing since avocado toast. She got Beyonce to wear a kale sweatshirt. She convinced New York restaurants to put kale on their menus. She even created a fake Facebook page for the American Kale Association, which isn't even a real association. She literally made it up out of the air. And yet, somehow, it worked.
Kale. Kale.
Kale.
Kale. Kale.
Kale. Kale.
Today, you can find kale everywhere. It's being massaged into salad. It's being blended into smoothies. McDonald's even put out a kale breakfast bowl. And that would be fine if kale was actually healthy for you. But the truth is, kale is shockingly bad for you. See, back in the day, farmers tried to feed kale to their sheep, and the results were nothing short of horrifying. Because of the sheep's high kale diet, they ended up giving birth to babies with massive goiters. A goiter is when a sheep has a giant bulge on its throat, like this. But on top of that, a lot of the baby lambs developed major brain abnormalities. Some were even stillborn. And cows that were fed kale in Tasmania, they produced milk that ended up causing thyroid disease in the children who drank it. If you don't know, your thyroid gland is a small, butterfly-shaped gland located below your Adam's apple. Your thyroid gland is responsible for making two main hormones that affect every cell in the body, and they play a key role in how fast your body uses fats and carbohydrates. In other words, your thyroid plays a key role in your metabolism. So you definitely don't want to hurt your thyroid or get a thyroid disease. Thyroid disease can mean your thyroid doesn't produce enough of the thyroid hormones your body needs, or it can produce too much. Or you can also develop a goiter like those sheep. That is what's happening when you eat kale. And yet, health-conscious Americans will just keep gobbling it down like there's no tomorrow. And sure, you're not going to get thyroid disease after 1 or 2 kale smoothies, but it is definitely a net negative for your body.
Kale, magic king kale, they call it, like, you know, all these are the leaves of the plant. The plant doesn't want you to eat them, okay? That's why when you go to an apple tree, you will eat the apples. You don't go eat the leaves, because if you did, you will get sick most likely. But yet you can eat the apple, and it's good for you and full of nutrients, because the tree is ripe. It wants you to eat it because it wants you to spread the seed, okay? That's why here in Ireland you rarely ever see animals eating leaves in trees, because you know, that's it, you just don't eat the leaves.
And here's the thing, the exact same thing happened with celery. Before, celery was consumed here and there, but it wouldn't be until 5 years ago that America would get really hooked on it. And it was all thanks to this guy, Anthony William, a famous psychic.
Many people, shortly after drinking 16 ounces of celery juice on an empty stomach every single day, experience less digestive problems. They get rid of acid reflux. They feel more energy. They feel more clear. Their brain fog dissipates. They feel like they're moving forward, finally out of their illness, finally out of their condition.
But why celery juice? Well, because a voice in his head told him so.
For anybody who doesn't know about me or where I get my information from, comes from a source above, a source that's free from the agenda that men here have on the planet.
The idea that celery juice is healthy did not come from empirical data, but a random voice in his head. And yet, once again, the public ate it up.
So many celebrities have joined this craze.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone, I heard, is now a big fan of the celery juice.
Yeah, he's juicing celery juice, absolutely. He's juicing celery, yeah.
If that works for him, I mean, come on, it's going to work for everyone. Jenna Dewan, I've been seeing, she's been posting about you as well as the celery juice. Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, she's doing it too. She's doing the celery juice every single morning, 16 ounces on an empty stomach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never mind that celery was traditionally considered a medicinal food that's only supposed to be eaten in small amounts. But just like kale, celery is actually not good for you at all. Drinking high amounts of celery like this has been linked to asthma, extreme sun sensitivity, male infertility, miscarriages, and fetal abnormalities. But it's not just kale or celery that's bad for you, it's most vegetables. But why? Why are vegetables so dangerous for us? It seems very counterintuitive, since we've been conditioned our whole lives to believe that green equals healthy. But the simple reality is, plants do not want you to eat them.
The intention of plants is very clear here. They don't want us to eat the leaves, the stems, the roots, or the seeds. They don't want us to crunch and chew up the seeds, because that would subvert the plant's efforts to move those seeds to the next generation.
From a survival perspective, plants don't have much going for them. They're just kind of there, waving in the wind, just waiting to be eaten.
So basically, vegetables are good for you. Carrots, parsnips, turnips, swedes, onions, all good for you, providing that they're organic, right? They have to be organic. You should never eat food that's not organic. Listen, you are just eating complete crap, right? That's what you're eating. And it's going to get you over the long run. See, they know when they sell you food that's not good for human consumption, they don't mind, because they know it won't get you for a few years, 5-10 years, and you've no way to prove it was from their product. So, out it's given, covered in pesticides, alright? So that's what happens, and you can't say, look, that's your problem, this is how I got this. They'll say, why? It's our product, the only product you've eaten in 10 years. you'll have to go through the list of all the other stuff you ate, buddy. So basically that's what goes on. So know that, alright? And just know that going into the new year, eat organic food, eat organic vegetables, stay away from all them greens, they're no good for you, okay? You'll have seen it in the video about the way they came up with celery being good for you. Your mind, a brainwave's supposed to be, right? A spoof, a con, alright, is what it is. Same with the kale, and you see the way they're all in it, doctors and everything. Oh, I knew kale before kale was kale and all this shit. So know the truth and eat organic food and look after, if you have children, make sure it's all organic food. You source it. If you can source organic food, that's good for you. It's just like you have a car. You don't go down and put the cheapest diesel into your motor, do you? No, because you know it's not going to last long. So why would you put cheap food into your body? Without the body, you don't exist. You can replace your car, but you can't replace your health and your children's either. So that's why you should always source organic.
You gotta keep in mind is that not all meat is equal.
Boom, right, so just that I point this out, right? I get some of my food in Lidl, right? Because you can get a fair bit of organic stuff there. Organic mincemeat, organic honey, organic milk, organic tomato ketchup, organic spuds, organic eggs, organic carrots, organic oranges, plain water. They're just some of the things you can get now, right? That's why I always buy organic. And the bread is freshly baked, no preservatives, okay? Because you got to remember, the reason you're buying organic is because there's less pesticides. Not saying there's none, because it probably gets in somewhere along the line. It's the best you can get. It's the cleanest, it's the nearest to natural you're going to get. It reminds you of the food you used to eat when you were a child. And that's all I buy all the time. My food is always that way. And any time, which is very rare, I might eat a dinner somewhere else, and they wouldn't have organic spuds, you can tell straight away, you can get that pure spuddy taste. And not in a nice way. Do you ever buy chip, go into the chip and you get cheap old chips out of a bag, you know they're all them fucking wafery things, that horrible carbony taste, that's what you get. Trust me, try it out. Start with something simple if you think I'm lying. Get a few spuds, peel them, or just compare them. Taste one and then taste the other. And the organic food will blow you away compared to the crap that you're used to eating. So keep that in mind, and especially if you have children, that's just how I roll, alright? And anyone, if you want to look after health any way, shape or form, this day and age, unfortunately, most of the food is contaminated with pesticides, you know? Organic avocados. But remember this about eggs. They're organic eggs, but they're not free-range organic, alright? So they're being fed organic food, but I'm not sure if they're running free around the place. It doesn't say free-ranged. But at least they're organic food. If I could get free-range organic, I would get it straight away. And the difference between your beef and all that as well, and your minced steak, is because these cows are fed with grass. They're not given any modified corn and stuff that they often feed cows with. You know, they're just fed with natural real grass off the land, and the land is not sprayed. You get me? It's done the natural way. So just keep that in mind, anyway, lads. Just keep that in mind, so I throw that in there, right? And the same with the water. Obviously, when you're drinking bottled water, you can get microplastics. Most of the fruits are sprayed to death. Most of the vegetables are sprayed to death. So source organic, where there's little or no spraying getting done, chemicals on it. If they do fertilise the land, it's with natural fertiliser and not all the synthetic chemical stuff. Just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. Keep that in mind. So voila.
In fact, most of the meat you find at your local grocery store is pretty sketchy. You know how you see those American-raised beef or produced in the USA stickers in the grocery store? Well, apparently those stickers are a complete lie. There used to be a very strict law in place that required meat packers to label exactly where their beef was raised. But that law was squashed in 2015.
Just watch this video, right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and if you get something out of it, good for you. Just know that you have to look after your health, because the powers that be, they're all controlled by lobbyists, and billionaires control what they say and all the rights. So it's up to you to research, and, you know, if you're willing to just eat their crappy food when you know it's crappy food and you'll get sick, then it's your own fault, and think your children, alright? That's why I give so much of nothing but organic, right? Nothing but organic. Cost an extra few quid, but at the end of the day, it's your health, right? And your children's health, so that's most important, right? And it's a damn disgrace when you hear the governments of the world saying we care about the people, we care about your health, but yet they allowed your food to be full of pesticides, which is very bad and causes the big C. Right? There's loads of contaminants in all your food you're buying if it's not organic. And them same people are saying we care about you and your children. But yet if you walk out of a shop with your children, as you're leaving the shop, that's where you come across boxes and stacks and shelves of chocolate and crisps and more chocolate and every shape and size of bars and sweets, all at the counter for your children to see. So in case you missed anything in the shop, they'll see it on the way out for you to get from. Now, if the government really cared, like you care about your children, you put all that stuff, if you do buy it, up out of their way so they don't know it's there. You only give it to them now and then. You don't stack it all at the first, when you open the fridge, it's all there, the cupboards, it's all there, all the crap. You don't do that. Obviously, don't buy crap either. But that's something you do, a parent, to make sure that's kept away from their child's eyes. So how come shops and businesses throughout the world can stack it to the rafters as you're going out the door of the shop? In amongst all the cigarettes as well, by the way, I must add, because behind the chocolate you have stacks of cigarettes in and alcohol and shit. So basically, when they say they care about your children and about your well-being and about your child's mind and about your child's health and about your educational system, you want to know what your child is learning in school, and you'll see how much they care about your children's education as well, right? You already watched the video, you know how much they care about your health, right? So know that these people in control and power, they don't give a shit about you. It's up to you to protect your children, right? To protect you and your children and your family, all right? That's what's up to you, numero uno. Don't be thinking some magical government there out there are protecting and watching over you there on a daily occurrence, like, and they're caring about you. I mean, people talk about them like if there's some gods from heaven or something. Normal people in suits, born into this world, flesh and blood, go up the rank, move into big buildings, call themselves government and become high and mighty and tell the rest of us how we should be living like peasants, right? Because know the truth, government are overstretched, overreached. They want to know what's going on in your phone. They want to know what are you talking about, what did you post about, what do you like, what you don't like, what you think of them, what you think of everything. They want to know everything about you. That's why they want to be in your phone, listening to all and watching all your transactions and who you sent the phone message to and who you were talking to and all your videos. They want to know everything, scrutinise you. That's what the governments do today, right? And they want to pump you full of them then as well while they're at it, right? And your brain full of crap while they're at it as well. So know that governments aren't needed for all this overreach, right, where they are. And people, look what they done in the lockdown. Many suicides, people died. And many people got that and they didn't come back from it never again. Many people went into old folks home where they got the cosy inside there and they went on to die and no one allowed to see them. Many children were born, many children went out. All done by these people that call themselves government, alright? Government are only needed for this, alright? Hospitals, schools, transport, that might be railway or bus or ferry or plane, right? Infrastructure, roads, amenities, like, you know, leisure centres and stuff like that. That's what they're there for. And supposed to keep an eye on the stuff they're supposed to be protecting, like, that's what they should be doing, alright? And keeping an eye on the food supply that's coming into the country, where it's coming from, how it's being made. Is it safe for human consumption? You know, but they're not. And God knows what else is in their food, right? It's literally, everything is getting contaminated. So while the government in the world want to know, did you call him a they or a them or a he or a she and pronouns and all this shit? Well, they're worrying about that. This is what they're doing. The food is being polluted, the water's being polluted, the atmosphere is polluted, and they want to know what's going on in your phone. Just know the truth. Know the truth. Look at the job we done abroad in Anacotti. We went out there and cleaned Anacotti side of the river. And I mean, everyone and anyone wanted to know what we were doing out there. 4 or 5 different branches out there wanted to know what were we doing around the place, cleaning the river. And not one of them offered to give a hand, right? And they're all getting paid to do it. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about the government to be doing, right? That's what I'm talking about. You know, stuff that should be protecting, most importantly, is our food, our water and our air. They're the three things human beings can't live without. Clean food, clean water, clean air. But they're more interested in what's going on in your phone. Did you call that person by the right pronoun? Did you call that person by the right pronoun? And you make sure you call her a him and him a her. Alright? And are you sure that you're telling your little young fella there he can put on his skirt and dance around the fucking Frozen? This is what they're doing, right? And all the propaganda then and the fake news. I don't watch TV. I didn't watch television in 14 years. I don't have one. I have a monitor. I research for everything, alright? So that's how you get to know the truth, by not sitting there and absorbing their fucking bullshit that they shove back your throat. So back to it, if you're going into the new year, I'm going to tell you something that your government won't, because I actually do care about my fellow Irish man, woman and child. Don't be eating all that stuff, all them greens. It's a wonder children don't like that shitty crap. Their bodies naturally tell them when they're young, you are not to eat that unless you are a fucking rabbit, and you are not a rabbit. So more meat, more chicken and less veg, okay? Stay active, clean water, clean air, clean fruit, all organic. If at all possible, it has to be organic. That's how you protect yourself. So all that information is getting brought to you today from me, not your government, but from me. A fellow who doesn't get paid to bring you this information does it all for free from me here in Uprange headquarters. Unfortunately, we are not in the headquarters at the minute. We are in the car and I just got myself some organic food for the dinner. So, with that said, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, till next time, keep her lit! Yeehaw! Pow-pow!
So in order to survive, plants have evolved complex defense mechanisms to deter would-be vegetarians. For example, when a caterpillar chews on certain types of leaves, the leaves will actually secrete a toxin, driving the caterpillar away. When we chew a spinach or kale leaf, those same toxins get released. And these toxins are called natural pesticides. You've heard of pesticides. They're the dangerous chemical cocktails that are sprayed on big agriculture to prevent insects from eating the crops. But what you may not know is that plants actually produce natural pesticides. And pretty much every green vegetable contains them. These natural pesticides can cause digestive disorders, headaches, asthma, and a whole list of autoimmune diseases, all in an effort to convince you never to eat this plant again. And yet, thanks to all this conditioning to eat your vegetables,
eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables. Eat your vegetables.
Eat your green vegetables.
One scientist said that humans eat 10,000 times more natural pesticides than they do synthetic.
But you can see here from this paper, table 1 is 49 natural pesticides and metabolites found in cabbage. They mention below this chart in the explanation, allyl isothiocyanates induced papillomas of the bladder in male rats, a neoplasm that is unusually rare in control rats, was classified by the National Toxicology Program as carcinogenic. Allyl isothiocyanate occurs in cabbage.
But you may be wondering, well, okay, evil food supply, but why are cows able to eat grass then? Well, animals, like cows, sheep, and horses, are 100% herbivores. And it's all thanks to their super long digestive tracts that are able to process fiber into short-chain fatty acids. Humans do not have this long digestive tract. Plant fiber goes right through us and is actually pretty bad for our digestion.
Others of us have to avoid them because they immediately start to cause inflammation in the gut, which can manifest as constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas.
But it's not just these natural pesticides that are ruining our bodies. Green vegetables like kale, broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage all contain something called goitrogens. Goitrogens are compounds that interfere with your thyroid gland. They block your thyroid from absorbing iodine, which it needs to build hormones, which means your metabolism is gonna be wrecked. Goitrogens act the same way in the body as cyanide. It's pure poison. Remember those lambs? It was the goitrogens in the kale that made their thyroids so big. So many people today are chugging kale smoothies every single morning, assuming it's giving them energy, when really, it's blocking their hormone production, making them more tired and weak.